everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I am coming to you from Dayton, Ohio. I'm back home this week after having an amazing family vacation in Virginia last week, which is where I saw you last week. Um, Last week was an interesting time. I went and released my dad's ashes, and it was just such a beautiful experience and quite hysterical because we know that spirit can have a sense of humor. And one of the things that I love about what I do as a medium is I get to relay people's personalities from the other side. And my dad had a wicked sense of humor and still showed that on the day that we released his ashes. And as much as I wanted to cry and I had panic over letting them go, I absolutely wound up laughing hysterically because he just found a beautiful way to let me know I'm watching you. I was totally okay with this, and I was glad you did what you did. So, what a great moment. What a great moment. So, I hope that all of you are having a wonderful February. I can't believe that we're already almost at the end of February in 2024. It seems like the older I get, the quicker time goes. And, it's so interesting to look at time because we know that time isn't lineal, it's all happening right now, which is why our spirit guides are like social workers, and each one of us are their cases, and they help us, and they can help us all at the same time because if time isn't lineal, it's all happening right now. It's like they're focusing completely on us in that moment, which is amazing. And one of the things I like to tell everybody when they're talking to me and looking for healing, looking for help, is that you need to remember you were born with everything you need to heal yourself. I've had so many clients contact me and ask me about spirit attachments and about different things. And I will tell you that yes, you can go to someone who will help get rid of the attachment. If you're spending an exorbitant amount of money, they're not doing it for real. And with the attachment, and perhaps somebody else can get rid of it for you, but it is your belief system that can bring it back. So if you believe that it is still there after you've paid someone to get rid of it, then it is still there because you brought it back with your belief system. This is why I teach people you can heal yourself. What you believe, you achieve. And this comes from the Hermetic principle, as above, so below, as within, so without, principle of attraction. And so when we believe something, it happens around us. So when I chose to believe I was a really good medium and I could do things, I wound up getting a great call from Ask One Radio saying, "Hey, do you want to be one of our hosts?" And it was amazing. I was so grateful for that. When I don't believe that anything is happening for me and that I'm not as good as I thought I was, people stop booking on my schedule. And that all has to do with what I believe. So we have to start believing in ourselves and our capabilities and what we do. So I would like to welcome Ada to the show. Ada. Hi,
Okay.
Ada.
Okay.
How are you? How may I help you? How may I help you today?
Seven.
Okay, cool. So we're just having some connection issues with Ada. And so I have this amazing producer behind the scenes who's like the wizard, right? He's amazing, can do all these things. So while he gets Ada on, we're just going to continue talking about what you believe you achieve. So it's important for you to start believing wonderful things about yourself, which is why daily affirmations really work. So the way that you can deal with affirmations, one of the greatest ones you're ever going to do is I am worthy. I am loved. Write them on post-it notes, right? It doesn't have to be anything expensive. Write it on a piece of paper, tape it up on your mirror in the bathroom, tape it in your car, put it anywhere where you need to see something regularly. When I was working at a corporate office, on my laptop on the bottom right-hand corner, I used to say, "You're doing this so you can work for yourself. You're doing this so you can work for yourself." And here I am going full time on my own in my business, and it's all because I believed that. And did it take time? Absolutely, it took time. Did I have to have time to get my husband on board? Oh my gosh, yes. He needed to get on board with it too because I was making a decent salary. Actually, it was a really good salary with good benefits and everything else. And I asked him to just believe in me and to allow me to start doing what I really was comfortable doing, which is being a medium and being able to teach people. I love being able to teach you how to get in contact with your own spirit guides. I don't think that everybody should have to rely on us. And I am grateful that I have this opportunity to be of service to people. And in the same breath, I would prefer to teach you how to become your own medium. Maybe you don't want to read for someone else, but you want to be able to recognize when your dad comes around, when your mom comes around, when your best friend comes around. We want to be able to recognize who it is and how we can do it. And that's one of the things that I love teaching people how to do is being able to recognize the difference between your human ego and your higher self. Your higher self is a much lighter, beautiful energy that believes you can do anything. The very first moment that you hear the word but, that is going to be your ego stepping in, telling you that you don't have access to do something that you absolutely can. And that is why we have to start recognize the difference between what is our ego and what is our higher self. And it's simply because your ego wants to hold you back. Why does your ego want to hold you back? Because it exists only on this earthly plane and it doesn't want to be gotten rid of. It doesn't want to disappear. Your higher self knows that it exists on a completely different plane, knows that it's a high vibration, knows that this world is really just a game that we're all playing. And how good are we going to become at the game? Your ego wants you to believe this is all there is, and you have to fight and scrap for everything that you have. And you do not. You can do anything that you want to do when you want to do it. You just have to believe in the possibility. So, with that, I want to welcome Ania to the show. Hi, Ania. How are you?
Hi, Maria. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Wonderful. Did I pronounce your name right?
It's Anaya.
Anaya. Thank you. I like to pronounce
Hmm.
them properly. So, thank you for correcting me. How may I help you today,
No
Anaya?
problem. Well, I wanted to ask. I'm currently going through a situation with my boyfriend Jordan, and
Okay.
we had a fight, and I wanted to know if it will over or if it's over between us.
If it's over between you.
Yes.
So, Spirit shows it to me as though you feel like he is a closed door. Because when I feel like, okay, I want to be able to talk to him, I feel like I'm kind of banging my head up against a wall and I'm not always getting the answers that I'm seeking. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And Spirit is showing it to me as though there are some things from his childhood that can stop him from being open and allowing himself to be vulnerable with other people. And if you can find the patience to be able to seek out a counselor or therapy, that the two of you can absolutely make things work, but it requires both people being willing to go. And I don't necessarily feel as though he would be super comfortable with that. And at the
Hmm.
same time, if it's something that he really wants, then he'll go. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes, it does.
Um, awesome. So I'm shuffling some cards and I'm just asking spirit to give me a card for what would be right for your situation. Like what do you need to know? And
Okay.
so here's what we have. We have this card, and if you're on TV, you can see it. It is the full frost moon, and it is the moon in November. And the words on the card say, now is the time to prepare. Circumstances can change at any time, and being unprepared will affect you more than you realize. And so the way that I would be able to explain that to you is to not put all of your eggs in one basket. And it is be ready for things to shift and change at a given moment so that you don't feel like you're left holding the bag and just alone. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And to be prepared for anything to shift and change. And in the same breath, being able to have very vulnerable conversations saying, look, I love you and I want to be in this relationship with you. However, if you're not open, then I have to be able to be in a relationship where I feel loved, I feel seen, and I feel heard. Because spirit is showing it to me as though you don't necessarily feel heard in that relationship. Does that make sense?
Yes, without a doubt.
And it is important for you that you are heard so that you can be validated as, being important, and that what you have to say is valued in the relationship. So there needs to be a very vulnerable conversation and a very open and honest conversation to sit them down and say, hey, how can we do this? How can we work through this? Maybe I overreacted to something you said. Maybe you overreacted to something that I said. And because of that, we need to be open to owning what each one of us said. And even though it feels like you do that more often than anything, to continue to say, okay, here's what I'll own. Are you willing to own what you said so that we can try and work through this? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because Spirit is showing it to me as though you need more balance. So these kind of questions are not a yes or no kind of thing because it all depends on free will, right? If they get freaked out and say, listen, I've had enough, and they walk, we can't stop that. But what we can do is control how we react to it. We can get ourselves prepared, which is what the card says. Get prepared for staying or going, whether it's mentally or physically, in preparing money, getting things ready, looking at options of places to live so that we can be ready for that. And also being prepared to sit down with a list of therapists and counselors to say, okay, here, this is what we can do because I want to try and save this relationship because we've been together long enough that means something to me. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So it's just getting everything together and being prepared for all the different scenarios so that you don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have no control at all. And that's going to help you to feel like you do have some control in the relationship.
Okay.
So thank you very,
Well,
thank you very much. Go ahead. What?
Oh, I was just saying currently, I've tried reaching out to him. I'm just giving him space right now. He
Mhm.
doesn't want to talk, but I'm just kind of looking to see where things go.
Yeah, it definitely get prepared for whatever you need to be prepared for. And know that if he is not interested, then you are absolutely better off and ready to be on your own. So thank you very much, Anaya, for joining the show. Thank you to all of you for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye-bye.